a career-high 17 points for you. How did it feel to just be able to go out here in a game like this one, play free and loose, a lot of energy, Jaime going crazy, and a good game like this one to, show Heat Nation what you could do headed into next season?
First of all glory to God just to be able to play the game that I love. My opportunity came tonight with the guys resting, the guys out and everything like that. Being out there on the court with Jaime finally getting it back rolling and everything like that. It's just a uplifting moment all around. You got to be grateful for it.
Saw you look real mighty comfortable with a couple of those three-point attempts. How much has it been an emphasis for you to work on that part of your game this season?
Great emphasis throughout my whole life, my whole basketball development. It's just a moment where opportunity meet preparation. Go out there and let it fly. Trust your instincts.
What would you say is the biggest thing you've learned this year in your first year with the Miami Heat?
The biggest thing I learned is overall business. No matter what happened, it's a business. I've seen a lot of things happen throughout my first year, and just stick with it. Everything is unpredictable, and just stick with it. Put the work in, and it's going to be undefeated.
This team now, winning 9 of 12 to close out the season after what was obviously a up and down start to the year. What do you think that says about your team as you guys close out the year on that note?
Yeah, we gritty. We gritty. That's, Heat culture is a real thing, and that's just an overall example of how we are. We took the 10-game losing streak and bounced back right from it. You face adversity, and Heat culture is all about getting right back up.
So you end the regular season here with a win. Now you head into a play-in game on Wednesday. What was the message from some of the leaders in this locker room as you guys sort of wrap things up going into that?
Yeah, just get ready for what we work for all year. What we work for all year. We got 2 games. Got to knock the 2 games out. Focus on the one right in front of us right now.
Thank you, Keshad.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I'm sure bittersweet because of the final result, but how good did it feel to be Jaime Jaquez Jr. again for an afternoon?
It felt well. Felt good. Just happy to be out there playing. We had a great group of guys out there competing, trying to win the game. Didn't go our way at the end, but just happy to be back out and playing.
Jaime, just obviously it's the first time we've dealt with this since entering the league, but what have the last few weeks been like for you as you kind of stay prepared for a moment like this?
Just continue to stay ready. Try to be a great teammate. Keep encouraging the guys that are in the rotation, and letting them know my input, what I'm seeing, from the bench, and still trying to be involved, engaged, and on the court, just keep working on my game.
It's going to be a rough path, obviously, to get to the playoffs. You have to win 2 road games, but is that sort of maybe a fun opportunity for you guys to kind of overcome that, maybe the doubters and people like that?
Yeah, no, we embrace this challenge. That's something that the Miami Heat have always done. We always like having a chip on our shoulder, and this year is no different.
Obviously, you guys make a late rally there in the 4th, and obviously the Bubba Carrington game winner. Could you just kind of talk about just that?
Yeah, it's a shame, again, because we did so many really good things in front of our fans. The last 4 minutes were a lot of fun to be able to crawl back, get the lead, and then get the 4-point lead. And then, it was 3 things that, had to go 3 their way and 3 not our way, and all 3 things happened, unfortunately. But there was obviously some good things, defensively down the stretch. And then, yes, it was good to see Jaime, play free in the mind, play aggressive. He definitely had the downhill, part of it. And we haven't forgotten, that's what he can do. It's a matter of just having clarity in his head and his role, and then to be able to make reads off the dribble. Against the really good teams, it won't necessarily look like that. There's going to be rotating defenders, and making the right play out of that. But it was great to see him, make the plays in the moment of truth. He had some real clutch plays too when we were playing, from behind it. Eventually take the lead. He has that savviness. He's got that, that want and the will. So that was cool.
Josh and Keshad obviously got some chance to play extended minutes. What did you think about what they did today? Yeah,
Josh had some big buckets going down the stretch too. I was reminding the guys. Everybody felt that Jaime obviously was on a roll, but I wanted everybody to still be a live option. It can't just be 1-on-5 when, everybody knows that you're overdoing it trying to get Jaime the ball. And I thought Jaime did a good job getting off the ball at the appropriate time, those last 4 or 5 minutes, and Josh was a recipient, of those a couple times, and he was able to get some three and get some plays in the paint that were important. And KJ, I thought the best thing that he did was when we started, defending and switching. And I think that's one of his strengths, is to be able to play a big. And then if you need to switch, and if you have a switchable lineup out there, he's fully comfortable, playing on the perimeter.
Erik, this is actually the first 2-day break you will have since the All-Star break. What's it going to be like the next 2 days to get into the lab, to be single-minded on a single focus, and will that help you maybe solve some of the riddle that the Bulls have been for you this season?
It'll be, valuable. I'm sure both teams, feel that way. You also want to be mindful that you don't overclutter, the mind. We're at our best when we have great clarity, and we know what our game is at this point. We know what their game is. We've played them 3 times in the last 2 months, so we will do a little bit more prep, than a normal regular season game if you just have a shoot around to prepare for it. But I don't want oversaturation of information, to slow us down. But the extra day, we'll certainly, try to take advantage of it.
And when you talk about the Bulls, you talk about their speed game, the way they change the roster, the way they're playing. Is that something you prepare for, or is that something you just want and need to want to do to stop their speed and get back?
Both. I think it was good, the last 2 games, New Orleans and even tonight, just teams that push it really fast. It's a synapse, that we have to have on Wednesday night to get onto the next possession, and have that mental toughness to do that for 48 minutes, every single possession, whether it's a make or miss. We've had several possessions in the Chicago series where we've gotten shots in the paint, even several made shots that they've run out and scored within 4 seconds. In possession games, that can be the difference. And I felt like in the last game, they're 27 to 28 in transition to our 15. That was the game. A lot of other things that we can look at, but that separator, if they can get 12 to 15 extra relief points, that's tough to overcome. Particularly in a one-game setting. So we have a lot of those habits, but they do it probably more intently than most. Thanks, Coach. All right, thank you.